Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be the top 15 champions that I avoid in Arena, so kind of slash top 15 Arena defenders. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so yeah, first things first, you know, this might not be true for everybody. This is just kind of my experience, you know, farming the Arena in Gold 4. These are going to be the top 15 champions that I avoid, or that I'm kind of scared or a little bit timid to fight against when I'm looking for who to attack in the Arena. So you know, also the last couple lists I have done, you know, like top 10, top 15 lists have been non-legendary. I want to mix it up, so this one is going to include legendaries, so I'm just going to do like the top 15 with no stipulations. So alrighty, let's dive into it here. And I'm just gonna, these aren't in a particular order, they're just gonna be kind of the way that I came across them when I was going through the champion index and kind of looking like, okay, you know, I did a big rough draft list and then I kind of whittled it down, and it's just gonna be kind of the order that I came across them in the index. So first is gonna be Shiromani. You know, because her freezes can just really snowball on you, and it's mainly this ability here, attack all enemies with an 80% chance of placing a freeze. When she is booked up, it is a 100% chance, so as long as she has good accuracy. And these abilities are very devastating in the Arena because normally people don't build high resistance on their Arena attack teams. Now some do, but most of the time you're maximizing damage and speed, you're not really stacking resistance. So abilities like freeze on defense can really smoke you on your offense team. So Shiromani is going to be the first one on the list. Next is Arbiter. You always have to be a little worried when you're going up against a team with Arbiter on it because she has an insane 30% speed aura, and then she also has turn meter filling for the team, and she's going to increase attack. And the heals isn't super impactful, but it's mainly because of her ability to fill the turn meter of the whole team and place that huge increase attack. So she's gonna make those nuke strategies just that much better against you, and you gotta be a little bit scared going against her. She also has revive, so you know, even if you're able to kind of kill things around her, there's a chance that she revives and they snowball against you. So you always have to be a little bit careful when going up against an Arbiter. Alrighty, and next is going to be Roshar the Tower. Now, Roshar is really known for the Zone of Protection ability, which is place a block damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. 2 turns is an eternity in the Arena. So, boom, block damage on the whole team. If you don't bring somebody that can remove buffs, or if you don't make sure that you have insane speed to go before the Roshar, you're gonna be in for a tough battle that can usually snowball against you. Alrighty, and then also in the Sacred Order, I'm gonna go over Martyr. Now, of the counterattack champions, Martyr is arguably the worst in the Arena. She's still really good, and you have to be careful going up against her because counterattack is very tough to manipulate, and it can really go against you quickly. But the reason I say Martyr is the lowest out of the 3 main counterattack champions is her base speed is 93, which, you know, is if you have a really good speed nuke team, you can usually run through Martyr. But if you don't have insane speed, she can really, you know, wreck your team because of her ability, you know, Bastion of Faith, that places a 60% increased defense buff and a counterattack on all allies for 2 turns. This is one of the best abilities in the game. It's lots of sustain and counterattack on the whole team. She also has a lot of other utility. You know, she decreases attack and places provoke, and she decreases defense. So all of her abilities are very good, and she is one you need to watch out for. Alrighty, and next, I'm actually going to go back to the High Elves. I missed one, and it is going to be a LaSandra. I really struggle with going against LaSandra in the Arena. It seems like she always wrecks me, and it's mainly because of this Energize ability. This is one of the best abilities for the Arena in the game. It's going to place a 30% increased speed buff on the whole team, fill the turn meter of all allies by 30%. That would already be really good, but it's also going to decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 30%. So in terms of Arena abilities, this ability of LaSandra is insane, and it also doesn't attack anybody, so it can't be a weak hit, which is very important in terms of being resisted and proccing or not. So now, admittedly, the decreased turn meter can be resisted, so LaSandra does need really good accuracy along with excellent speed, so she can be very gear dependent to make her snowball in the arena. But if you get her geared right, LaSandra is going to be one that you need to be scared of when, you know, attacking in the arena. All right, next let's go into the barbarians and go over Valkyrie. Valkyrie is, you know, probably the best counterattack champion in terms of the arena. She, you know, similar to Martyr, she's gonna, you know, provide that counterattack buff for all allies, but she's also going to place a shield, which makes her insane on defense. She's got a passive with turn meter manipulation and an A1 that decreases turn meter, so she can really get out of control, you know, against you in the arena. Alrighty, let's go Ogre and Tribes and Skull Crusher. This is going to be the third and last counterattack champion I put on this list. You're starting to see a trend. Counterattack is very good, and it can really wreck you if you don't handle it quickly and properly. Now, you know, the cool thing about Skull Crusher is this ability here. You know, decrease the duration of all debuffs in this champion by 1 turn at the start of each turn, so tough to really put debuffs on him. And then also the Stone Wall is kind of his bread and butter, an ally protection, and then the unkillable buff on him, and then the counterattack on all allies. This Stonewall is one of the best general utility abilities in the game, so watch out for Skull Crusher. Alrighty, and then one that kind of flies under the radar for a lot of people is going to be Gergo the Augur. I'm putting him on this list. He is very rare because he's a Void Legendary, and you can't get him from the missions like Arbiter. So that's why Arbiter is owned by many more players than Gergo is. But if you do go against a Gergo, you need to be careful because this ability here, Bone Chiller, remove 1 random buff from each enemy, and then a 100% chance of placing a freeze if booked on all enemies, and grant an extra turn. Freeze, like I said earlier with Shiromani, is insane for arena defense, and this is one of the best abilities for it. So, you know, tread carefully against Gergo. I know a lot of people see Gergo and think, oh, it's a garbage legendary, let me just go ahead and attack them. But Gergo can really wreck your day and make you lose an attack very quickly. All right, next is one that I'm sure you're all familiar with. This is kind of the Bronze League wrecker in Rhine Beast. Everybody, it's kind of a rite of passage for Raid Shadow Legends players. You know, you can't consider yourself a raid player until you've been wrecked by a Rhine Beast in the arena. Everybody, you know, has that one time where they were fighting in the arena and a Rhine Beast soloed their whole team, or they left it on battle for 30 minutes and they just couldn't kill the Rhine Beast. No matter with their whole team, they couldn't kill it. So everyone's gone through that, and Rhine Beast has this passive, you know, place a shield buff equal to 35% of this champion's max HP. That's a great passive for 2 turns, and it can occur once per turn. So it can really start placing a lot of buffs. And then this ability here, place a 15% continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn. So, you know, a lot of people put Rhine Beast in like a retaliation set with counterattack and start really snowballing these turns and getting out of control. And then with all of his HP and continuous heal and shield, he can be really tough to mow down and get through. He's also force affinity, and when people are starting out in the game, the starting champions are magic affinity, so usually people are weak. Like beginner players are usually weak against force affinity, so Rhine Beast kind of checks all those boxes for being really tough for early to mid game players, and that's why I had to put him on this list. Alrighty, now let's go into Demon Spawn and Lord Shazar. Lord Shazar has the best speed arena aura in the game. It is 32%, so gonna be a little bit harder to go first against a team that has Lord Shazar. And then, you know, he's got an extra turn ability that's gonna place an increased attack buff on this champion that can't be removed, and block debuffs, and then able to attack all enemies and place bombs that will nuke you pretty hard. So Shazar is also really good in the arena. Alrighty, next we're gonna go Prince Kymar. Prince Kymar also has a really good speed aura for the arena. It is 30 instead of 32, but it's just as good as Arbiter's. They're both 30. And then The cool abilities of Kymar are the Seal of Magic. It's going to reset the cooldown of all ally skills. So a lot of teams will have Kymar go last. So they'll have their, you know, character 1, character 2, character 3 go, and then have Kymar go 4th, reset all of their cooldowns, and then they can go again for another wave of those high impact abilities. So if you pair Kymar with champions that have really impactful abilities, even though they have an extremely high cooldown, they're able to cast them twice in a row and really wreck your team. He also has this Abyssal Gaze that attacks all enemies, removes all buffs, and places a sleep. So again, if you have him go last, place that sleep, you can basically wipe out a turn and go again against them. So Kymar is exceedingly amazing in the arena when used right, and you have to be careful when attacking him. Next, we're gonna go another one that a lot of you are going to be familiar with, and that's going to be Gorg. Actually, one of the few, you know, Ancient Shard capable epics that I don't have. Gorg is one of the last, like, 3 or 4 that I don't have. And Gorg is very famous in the mid game because he has a speed aura, and he also has turn meter boost, increased attack, and revive. So he kind of fills a bunch of roles there, and because of the revive, the turn meter boost, the speed aura, he is somebody that you're going to want to watch out for, especially in the early to mid game before you have like an insane team setup. And then one that is very popular to be paired with Gorg is going to be right next to him. It's going to be Seeker. And this Tailwind ability is incredible. It's going to fill the turn meter of all allies and place a 50% increase attack buff. Then we've got you know, a passive that isn't super impactful, but it is going to increase defense on all champions for 2 allies when Seeker is hit with a critical hit, which will be very common in the arena. So he can kind of double down and be pretty good on offense, and then also be kind of serviceable on a defense team. And then we're gonna go to the Dark Elves and Ray. I always call her a dirty girl because she will just give you nightmares in the arena if you aren't able to go before her. She's got this ability that attacks all enemies and inflicts 50% more damage against targets under debuffs. So, you know, normally they'll use her as a nuker to kind of go after somebody that sets her up, and she will just absolutely smash you with that inflicts 50% more damage. She also attacks all enemies, removes all buffs, and then can freeze your whole team for 1 turn. Freeze, like I said, is insane in the arena, so she's kind of insane in 2 different ways. And then Hegemon is going to be the last one that I go over here, and this is, you know, a very new Void legendary. So going to be exceedingly rare that you go against a Hegemon, but Hegemon is crazy because of this passive. Always goes first, and when he goes first, he's going to attack your whole team and block cooldown skills for 2 turns. That is incredible. The fact that he always goes first and then blocks you from using anything except for your A1 for 2 turns, basically GG. I mean, you have to have a really specific team and really be set up well to take down a well-designed defense team that has Hegemon on it. So definitely be careful if you're running into Hegemon in the arena. So yeah, that's gonna kind of do it. This is, you know, was a fun little list to put together of just 15 champions that I think are kind of just generally really good in arena defense that you should kind of avoid when you see them, and kind of tread carefully and make sure, you know, you're able to counter the team that they are a part of. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you think, champions that I had on here that shouldn't have been on here, or champions that you really struggle against that you think should have been on the list. I always enjoy hearing the input from you guys. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.